Welcome in to the KSR Football Podcast. Nick Roush, Max Duffy, Drew Franklin, and Adam Luckett here. It is the bye week, and this bye week is a lot different than the last bye week. Instead of coming off of a top 10 win, we're still waiting for Kentucky to win since that game. 4-game losing streak. Haven't had something like that since 2015. It was another bad, ugly day. Ugly night in Knoxville when Kentucky lost 18-28 at Tennessee. But I don't – Max, I thought this team was DOA. They were very injured. They were very beat up. But they showed a pulse. And that's the part that for me, just from a personal standpoint, I'm very much struggling to figure this team out because, like, they play good against all the good teams. And it's like, well, why can't you just do this the other time? I don't understand it. That effort seemingly came out of nowhere.
Yeah, very much like the baby that was on the screen just before we started. You know, you give them a couple taps on the back and then they throw it up and they get over it and then they're good as new. And we kind of got those bad performances out of the way and get to play a real team, and we're just good against the real teams for some reason. And then the terrible teams, we just match their level of effort. So I actually didn't think we played too bad. I mean, they missed 3 field goals and, you know, we had a couple of big turnovers or inability to convert fourth down, but I actually thought we played pretty good. I mean, we covered, so that's always a positive. And I know we don't want to be looking for those kind of positives back in the season. We'd rather be saying we're winning, but it was good to see the fight.
Thanks for getting us on topic, Max. Let's let everyone know Nick had an infant on his shoulder 20 seconds before we started.
Yeah,
and yeah.
You guys don't know what this guy's going through. I mean, he's watching kids while watching film, while hosting podcasts. It's a busy day for all of us.
I was very much prepared to just feed baby during the show. You know, but you got to do what you got to do. Fortunately, we did have wife come home in time. It's a fun combination of sick kids, plus like school's out, but they're also sick, so it doesn't really matter. But wife, it's just there's a lot going on. We're figuring it out though. It's the bye week. This is a good time for all the other stuff to happen. Look, you know all about the sick kids. Like you just got to deal with it sometimes. This is what it is.
You just have to do what you got to do at the end of the day. If that means going with Nick to Knoxville and hearing him cry the whole weekend about being in Knoxville, you just got to do it. If that means Mr. Duke wants to eat a microphone, you just got to let him eat a microphone if that's what he wants to do. So for now, we've got to labor through these next, I would say 4 weeks, but 3 games and see what Kentucky can do. The weird part, we're kind of in a 2-week holding pattern where we're not going to find out much about injuries. And that's kind of the story of this team right now. We don't get any injury report for the Murray State game.
That's a good point.
So like who even shows up for the Murray State game? I don't think we'll probably know that until that game rolls around. So interesting time here for the program. And we all know, I've been talking about this for a couple weeks, just that December that's around the corner is just monumental for numerous reasons.
I do find it funny that we finally got an injury report, and then they put 13 people on it, and then 2 more starters go out, Barian Brown and Brock Vandegrift, and you're down, I think, 8 starters by the game's end. You have 2 healthy cornerbacks for most of the game. JQ Hardaway's cramping up. And then there's still people online like, there's something going on with all these injuries. These kids got to be quitting. It's like, you know, you can't win with them, can't win without them. No matter what you do, people are going to speculate. But this team certainly is beat up. I do think that, like, it feels like we're 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I thought Kentucky had a chance with Brock Vandegrift to win that game. You know, like, I don't know what it is, Max, but most of his interceptions do get tipped before or like go off of one Kentucky receiver's hands before they get picked off. But he was playing well, and it felt like putting Gavin in for that second half last week lit a fire under his ass, and he was playing some pretty good football back there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he played a lot better than he had been. There's still a couple of crucial times where, you know, we couldn't come up with the play, and then obviously, you know, him getting knocked out or concussed, whatever you want to call it. was kind of disappointing. But then Gavin played really well as well. I thought he played a lot better than what he's shown in the past. Whether you want to classify that as really well or not, but I thought he played a lot better. And then, I just felt like we kind of just threw the kitchen sink in terms of we had 9 different guys catch the ball. We were going with whatever sticks. Let's just throw it to whoever. And, Josh Caddis obviously had a touchdown, which was nice to see. Tight ends for you, Drew, which I'm sure you're happy about. So, I thought it was better. It's still a 10-point loss, but much better. To me, without moving forward too quick, I don't care about the next few weeks. I just want to beat Louisville. I think just to finish the season beating Louisville should be all we care about. And it's going to be so much more sweeter now too because they just beat Clemson. And, they're actually a pretty decent football team right now. So to finish off the season with that win is all we should be focusing on.
They did have a nice win Saturday night. I haven't heard too much from them. I heard a lot from the Tennessee fans. They are very loud people, which
they probably don't know that they won because no one goes to those games. So they're probably finding out around about now and watching this podcast.
Drew, you're related to one of those people. How's that been? How's it been going for you?
We're still in a dark period of our communication. Giving it a few days. I had plans to take my parents to Texas Roadhouse last night. Big Franklin family outing.
Heck yeah!
And I didn't think about the timing because I set it up before the football game, and then I thought, will I even enjoy my roles if I'm just having to listen to my dad talk about the Vols? So I woke up at 8 a.m. Sunday, went to Slade, Kentucky. Why Slade, Kentucky? Well, that's where you can hike and your cell phone doesn't work. So I went and hid from him and everyone else on Sunday morning, and I looked at the beautiful nature of Kentucky where football can't hurt me. I'll check in with him a little later this week.
That's a good approach. That's probably a healthy approach. Your Titans got to win, though.
That was nice. It's real fun, though, when you're trying to tank, beating a team that you might be competing for a draft pick with. I thought we were all in on tanking, so everyone forgot to tell Mason Rudolph, who looks like Josh Allen at times. So, like, the one time I don't want to win a game, they win, but whatever. I guess I'll be happy for some kind of satisfaction after many 0-3 weekends in my household when you throw in I'm a Cowboys fan as well through marriage.
Oh.
A lot of 0-3 weekends so far this season on the Saturday, Sunday at home here.
Now you're both on backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, fun.
Maybe Kentucky too.
All three, yeah.
Backup quarterback.
Yeah, all three.
Isn't football supposed to be fun? I mean, it's this year. It's not been kind to us. Not whatsoever at all.
Luckett was calling you a crybaby. Did you whine the whole time in Knoxville? I feel like there's more to Luckett's little baby talk there. Was Knoxville mean to you outside of the football, Nick?
Yeah, a little bit. I was very I was getting pre-mad about it, but then the Breeders' Cup happened Saturday, and I mean, I had a 12-1 that was like, all right, this is the big one. This is going to set the tone. We're going to start the day the right way. And the bastard's wire to wire and gets caught in the final 2 strides. And it's just like, ugh. And that was really my whole day of betting. It was like, if you bet it, they're going to come up and lose by this much, just like barely. But if you don't bet it, you're going to win and not have to sweat it. Like our pigskin preview show that we do each week. I was like, Ohio State, Penn State under, take it to the bank. They had like 3 red zone turnovers, and there's no way that game should have gone under. I didn't bet it, and it just with flying colors. So, it was one of those. I don't know if you've ever had those, Max, where it's just like everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And on top of it all, I was in a city that just smells. Like Knoxville just it stinks. I don't know if it's the cigarettes or what, but I mean, our hotel room, I don't have a good sniffer, but I need to check my clothes. I probably need to wash my jacket just because it was sitting there the whole time. That was stinky.
We made a mistake of not just having a Nick cam when we pulled in the parking garage where we had to park. Look at these people tailgating in a parking garage. What are you, in your cave? Oh, can't watch the Breeders' Cup race. Let me walk off. Stomping out of the parking lot. I'm like, I guess, Peak, you about ready? I guess we got to go find Nick. Who knows where he is? He's probably yelling at Rick Barnes somewhere.
I was holding my phone up like, come on, just come on.
Because we couldn't find a parking spot in the garage, and each spot we passed, and people were in there tailgating, taking up spots. You could just feel the steam from the ears filling up the car.
That's why horse racing and football is so good, though, because 99.9% of the time you're going to have that day where you just all week you're looking forward to it. Dude, I'm going to get to go watch races. Then I'm going to follow it up with football. It's going to be awesome. And then you get to the reality that you're terrible at betting. Your football team's terrible. There was no way this was going to be a positive day. And you get to the end of the day, you're down $2,000 on the horse track. You're down an extra $500 because you bet the football team. And it's just the worst. But then there's always one weekend a year where things just happen to go right. That was probably the Ole Miss weekend for us this year. And you just get that one good moment.
And when I say tailgating in a parking garage, I don't mean like the open garages where there's airflow. This was in a basement.
It was underground. Yeah.
There was no sunlight, nothing. They're just sitting in there tailgating. Multiple people. A lot of people were tailgating in this garage.
And it was a beautiful day. I mean, like 75 and bright, sunny, and it was like sewer rats who were hiding from the light to try to get hammered to go fight somebody while their team beat up on Kentucky. And then that didn't even happen. They were so cocky. And then for the first half, they were sweating it out. They were really having to sweat it out there. The kicker missing the kicks, those were objectively hilarious. And that's why I did have that moment in the second half. I'm like, I mean, they got a kicker who just like has no idea what he's doing. Like this team would be the team that they can't beat anybody with a pulse, but they go on the road and they beat Ole Miss and they beat Tennessee. And I started dreaming those dreams. And I really wanted to because, Max, you got to be there when the Boo Birds were just raining down on Jarrett Garantano. And, I mean, that's just one of the most beautiful sounds I've ever heard in my life.
We had our chances. I mean, I kind of said a couple of weeks back, I don't think this Tennessee team's very good. And I really thought, like, if we bring our best, we've got a chance. I mean, we've shown against Georgia, Ole Miss, and now this team. We can compete when we want to play and when we want to bring effort and we want to try out there. Unfortunately, we decided not to for whatever reason against Florida and Auburn. But when we want to play, we're a pretty good football team. And we had our chances. It had been nothing better. I don't think this Tennessee team, I mean, it may end up being a playoff team just due to its schedule, but I don't think they're going to do any damage to me. I mean, their defense is solid, but giving up 18 points to us isn't anything to really, roost about. So I don't think they're a great football team. And unfortunately, we just couldn't convert on key times and, come up with enough points to win.
Yeah, Nick, to me, the biggest disappointment of the game was Tennessee gets the ball back at their own 9 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, up 3, and then Kentucky's offense does not touch the ball until 4 minutes left, down 10. If you get a stop there, then I think there's a lot of more nervous energy in a huge stadium and see what Kentucky could have done. I don't even know if Kentucky could have scored there. That was probably the most disappointing part was that they couldn't get that ball back with a chance to go win the game, even if you hold them to a field goal.
And I think you mentioned it at the time too, that they got to the 50 in like 4 plays. Like it was a very, they quickly got down the field but like it makes sense how and why they were able to do it. I think that was the most plays the Kentucky defense has been out on the field all year. They were playing David Rayner as like an emergency linebacker because D-Jack was hurt. I mean, they were down to 2 healthy cornerbacks. I mean, there's a reason why they got gassed. That's really the story of this team though. Is like they lean so heavily on the defense that like all right, we need you one more time. They just didn't have enough in the tank to get that one last stop.
Yeah, and I agree that was obviously a big moment and could we get a stop, but there was reasons rather than excuses. Like we were down a bunch of guys on defense and like we said, we were pretty banged up. It was kind of maybe more so disappointing that we weren't able to capitalize on some of that momentum we had early to put up a few more points. To me, you could be up 14, 21 points in a perfect world at halftime or just after halftime with the opportunities we had. tail of the season, we're just not able to score enough.
No. Even if you start the game with a 50-yard run.
Yeah. 3 turnovers and 2 turnover on downs in 12 possessions is no way to live. Right? That's 5 times you're turning the ball over.
Is that good? No.
Hey, I liked going for it on that first drive though. I like the aggression.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, but I loved the mentality of, we're gonna have to get points and we're going for it here on 4th and 2. I know that was up for debate a little bit with some people, but it's just well defended. But I like that Stoops went for it.
Speaking of going for it on 4th down, sorry to change it. I don't know if you saw the Penn State Ohio State game. They went with a weird formation where they put their left guard out, like in a wide receiver spot, then ran him in, whatever. Ohio State just said, we're not covering him. How did they not just snap the ball? They're 2 yards out from the goal line. How did they not just snap the ball, throw the ball out there, let the big fella catch it and run over the line? Like, he was out on the numbers, and the nearest Ohio State guy was on the edge of the core, like right in the middle of the field. And they just said, we're not covering him, so throw it there. I would have just said, okay, throw it, go score. They probably beat Ohio State. Sorry. No, I had that game, so I was annoyed about that.
I've told Nick before, like when they have these wildcat formations and they put a running back or receiver at quarterback and they split out and put a couple linemen outside, I've said if I would put one guy out there and say, if you're going to throw it with your running back to your left tackle, score a touchdown, I'll tip my cap. But I'm not going to do that. You know, easy you can do it.
People out there.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Call the bluff. Do it. Dare you.
Oh man, James Franklin, poor guy. Not can't win the big one, and then can't handle like a heckling fan too. I love that he's got like another painfully bad loss at home, big crowd, top 5 game, and he's like fighting with what looks like a 16-year-old in the stands who's heckling him after the game. It's like, James Franklin, never stop being James Franklin. It is who he is in a nutshell. Losing big games and then being all high and mighty to like a 16-year-old kid who's not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, he can't step up to a reporter asking a serious question. He hides behind a curtain. But a child yells at him and he wants to, what's your name? None of us have liked that guy since Vandy, but he's just so much about him sucks and he just keeps adding to it. He's the one person that makes me root for Ohio State. I think just about every circumstance you could put Ohio State in, I'm rooting for the other team. Except the Penn State game. He makes me like the Buckeyes. I hate that guy so much.
Tough weekend for hecklers in State College.
We were a healthy Florida quarterback away from seeing them beat Georgia too, which is another team that doesn't look that great right now. It's going to be I don't know if we're going to get to it at any stage, but it's going to be a good playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see. Like, there's no real good teams right now.
Indiana.
I love that they gave DJ Lagway the Paul Pierce treatment. I mean, they put like some little cast on him. He's on crutches. I mean, I would have thought they would have had to treat him like a horse and go pull out the curtain and put him down. And now they say he's going to play this week. He might play this week. I'm like, wait, hold up. Which one is it? Right? Like
when they brought out the card, I told
Nick,
a little
annoying, a little frustrating.
I said, did his hamstring fall off the bone? Like, what's going on here? Like, can this guy walk? Put him on the cart and all that, and then now he's just fine. That was odd.
Well, they got the talking during the week that no faking injury. So I think every team took it to the extreme and was like, if we're going to go down and we've got an injury, let's just get the card out. Let's get a CPR machine, whatever we need. Just get everything out so we can prove that we're not faking it.
I'm fascinated by how they're going to enforce that, because I don't think you're just going to end it overnight, right? So, like, were people actually going to get fined? Are we going to know if they get fined for faking injuries? And then, as we heard, I feel like it's a pretty easy difference between like you're hurt versus you're faking it, but like it's going away just like that. So I'm curious if Greg Sankey's going to be doling out fines this week, or if that was just like a, here I am being the boss. Listen to me, damn it. And just saying it just to say it, just to put it out there. So maybe, just maybe, some teams might chill out a little bit on it.
Probably just a PR move by them to try to get it under control. That's something that's so hard to monitor. I know you all were there for the lovely chants. Was that as loud as it sounded on TV when Tennessee fans were chanting at Kentucky players? Because it sounded like all 101,000 people were a part of it.
Hard to hear from the box. It's kind of like Kroger Field where we couldn't really hear. That would be more of a question for a peek behind the scenes. He said it was loud when we met up with him after. So, I mean, it's 100,000 people.
It's like for you to yell that when someone's on the ground, you got to be sure that's not a serious injury, especially on the Ripka play where he kind of got rolled up. We're losing Roush there.
Yeah, I was going to say, did we lose
Roush?
Or are they just very concerned with what we're talking about?
He's really worried about this. So while we wait for Roush to get connected, since we were talking about playoff teams, Max, it looks like you're wearing some team gear that might be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys said football is pretty depressing this year. When you go 8-2 and really only lost to the best team in, maybe not even in the state, maybe the country, well, you're feeling pretty good. So we'll see. We've got a couple easy games coming up in the playoffs. And then hopefully once we get to week 3, you're going to travel down to Mayfield and your home field, Drew, and see how we go. Pretty excited about it. So I did liken us to Tennessee. I want to take that back. I think we're much better than Tennessee. We're much more potent offense than what they are. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs coming up. And I know you've got your Douglas guys in the playoffs too. I don't know who they're playing, but are you going to be attending all games?
I think we play on Thursday this week. I might sneak over there. Can't do Friday, but I might. You get to go back to see your old Murray friends. That'll be fun. I know you missed the old western side of the state. You did a year there. You did a year's time. I've
got them coming. I called a couple of the specialists today. Got them coming, to play at UK in a couple of weeks too. So I'm going to go see them before the game. They've got a kicker that's going pretty well. The rest of the team's not going very well. They're losing every Missouri Valley game by about 50. But the kicker's going pretty good. I'm happy for him. Hopefully he gets to kick a couple field goals against us when he comes to Kroger Field.
We were getting an Eagles report, Roush.
You're looking very concerned for a little while.
Yeah. Nice of you to join us.
Yeah. One of those days your computer just turns off. That's always fine.
You might have earned a Monday beer tonight. You were burping a baby about 30 minutes ago. Then you're up on your roof moving a satellite to get connected with us. I feel like tonight you've earned a cold one.
Club Blue has a beer.
Yeah, they do have a beer, and I cannot wait to open up one of those Kentucky Blue Lights. If you haven't tried it out, the proceeds, they go to Club Blue, and that's your official partner of UK Athletics. They got your name, they got your image, they got your likeness, they got all of it at Club Blue, where 100% of subscriber money and 100% of donor money just goes directly to NIL efforts at the University of Kentucky. Club Blue, they don't charge any fees at all. Subscribers get some amazing benefits like invitations to special events. We had the preseason game. There was also meet and greets before football games, Club Blue merch, and so much more. So subscribe today, clubbluenil.com. You get to pick which sport you want to support when you sign up. It's pretty great. I'm excited to support the Kentucky women's basketball program. I'm looking forward to going to the renovated historic Memorial Coliseum. My wife played some volleyball games there back in the day, and she's like, did they put air conditioning in it? And it's yes, there is air conditioning now. It used to be a very toasty gym. So that's a program I'm looking forward to supporting. They get underway in like 90 minutes. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, nice addition this winter, getting the hoops going, even though they didn't get the Sacred Heart girl, though. Was really hoping Zakiya Johnson would stay at home and rep BBN. But maybe, that's what the portal, that door's always open. The door's always open later on.
I know the doubleheader with men's and women's starting today is good for everyone at home, but I was excited to check out the women's opener, but it's kind of hard to attend both. Kind of hate that it's going to hurt their crowd tonight, but otherwise, exciting start for those two. Just in time for our bye week.
And surprise, surprise, best player on the women's team, Australian too, so always can root for that. You guys just got to go to a good country on the other side of the world to try and get some good players. I love it.
Hey, you better watch your back with those punting stats because somebody showed up on Saturday and bombed a couple, climbing up the charts towards your record.
Yeah, we went through the unfortunate typical start to the game where 3 was already typed in the text chain, and then I just added a 7 to it, 37, send. And I was like, here we go again. But then he bombed a couple, 55, 60, I believe. So very happy for him. He actually just texted me and said, Raise 8 is a complete joke. How am I not in this? And I'm about to text him back and say, I concur. But I don't know if we'd even nominated him yet, given what was happening in the previous games. But no, very happy for him. It was much improved. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, one of those got net 70 when you add in the penalty.
Yep.
It totally flipped the field on that punt. So yeah, that was nice
Yeah.
to see.
It's good to have a whole special teams bump there. It still would have been. I don't think they totally took advantage of it. At least they did once. It was like, oh, we're flipping the field. Like things are going.
Should have been the interception. Had it.
Yeah,
that was after the net 71. I believe.
That's a play that isn't going to get talked about a ton, but they got pressure. They got after Nico, and he sailed one. And man, that ball hit Nasir Addison right in the hands. It's right there. It's right at the 20-yard line. That changed the game. You know, like Kentucky made a couple of plays that we aren't used to seeing, but that anytime like it was there for the taking, Wilcox, he gets tackled after his 50-yard gain. Addison, potential pick 6. You're just like, so close.
If I'm a defensive coordinator and I value my job and I enjoy doing what I do and I like making money, I'm taking 10 minutes off scheme, 10 minutes off whatever you want to run. I'm getting a tennis racket and a tennis ball out. I'm lining up the defensive guys and just belting the tennis ball at them for 10 minutes so they learn how to catch. Because how many times, literally, it's at least once a game they drop a ball that we see like your poor baby that you were patting on the back before the show started probably could put the mitts up and catch it. Like, let's just give them 10 minutes of catching practice, get rid of the rest. And when we have to play less defense if you catch the ball too. So there's not as much need for scheme. Like, and it's not just us, it's every team in the country. How do teams and defensive guys just drop the ball time after time after time?
It is a very, we spend all of this time just breaking down all of the minutia of this game. And it's like, okay, if the guys on one side can make these awesome catches, how come the defensive guys can't too? Like, it's the same ball. I mean,
I don't have time to do it, but if you went back through this entire year and looked at the times we've dropped a pass from defense, like dropped an interception chance, I'd love to see like how different the year could be if you just caught every ball that was thrown at you.
There's an old saying, that's why you're not a wide receiver, and defensive backs hate it. That's an example that popped right in my head when that hit his hands. I mean, that was a softball.
I'm curious, Max, are you a tennis? Do you get out the racket? Do you play tennis? Are you good at tennis?
When I was growing up, because I play a real sport concerned with balls called cricket, not baseball, where you get to have a mitt, you have to catch it with your bare hands. Ball's going just as fast, ball's much harder, ball's actually spinning a lot more, you're a lot closer to the bat. It's just everything to do with hand-eye coordination is just at a whole nother level. We have to grow up learning how to catch the ball. So my dad would take me and my brother down to the park with a tennis ball and a tennis racket and just belt balls at us for an hour so we'd learn how to catch. And so, zero drop punt snaps. Not that that's very hard, but you do learn to catch pretty quick unless you want to get hit by the tennis ball right in the face. So get the defensive guys out there, get them lined up, get the tennis racket out and start belting at them.
That sounds like fun.
I did it with my specialists at Murray. I said, hey, we're not going to drop. So the holder and the punter, they got to catch the ball. Well, let's get some drills going. No excuses.
Listen, you can even cross sport this. Get the tennis team over here, line them up.
Yep. Serve it.
Rapid fire. Get the whole team up there.
Yep. It's the opposite of the dodgeball tactic of throwing the wrenches. It's actually you got to catch the wrench.
Oh man, I love this.
I think he's onto something.
I do love the thought of we've got serving practice with the football team today. Like, guys, get ready. Tennis team's good too, right, Drew? Like they're I'm not a tennis guy, but every time I look up, I'm like, oh hey, they're like competing for SEC championships and national championships.
Yeah, they've been in the mix the last few years, even won the co-SEC championship last year. Seem to always have someone that's a really big standout. Liam Draxel recently. They always have one of the best players in the country, it seems.
I'm not a tennis Terry though. I don't know the like that's one of those. So behind peel back the scenes, Luckett and I will have like a Saturday, in the summer where we're covering stuff, and there will be times I figured out how to do track and field, but yeah, sure, I can write about a track and field event. Tennis, they won. Here was the score.
Hey, I had to write tennis recaps for the U.S. Open, not even knowing how to write a tennis recap.
Yeah.
That was a great hit. Good point.
It's a volley. He volleyed that one time.
I will say, Matt and I cracked the code. The people that cover tennis for a living, they have figured out how to live life, and they're not sharing the secret with many people because the matches you're covering take forever. Very relaxed, though, not high-paced. You're not really missing anything for your story. The game stories aren't that hard to write, and you're going to Miami, L.A., all these cool places. Tennis beat writers, they're on to something.
Well, I was also going to say as well, Nick, you said you cover athletics, and that was easy to write about. What did you write? That guy ran faster than the other guy?
Well,
there can't be much to write about with that.
Well, because usually there's multiple people winning multiple events, and so you they set a new record in the 4x400, and won their heat, and then they previously did this at the indoor. That's what's great is there's so many Kentucky Olympians and stuff that's beat their previous world record of X, Y, and Z. So you get a little bit more meat on the bone there.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, to your point, it's they were really rallied to come in first and hit the tape first. So, but yeah, shout out to I think there's been an Olympian at every single Kentucky football home game this year.
Oh, the gold medals are there every week.
It's pretty awesome.
It seems, every game we look up and they're introducing another gold medal winner.
Will we have one for the Murray State game? Are we bringing out the gold medals for the Murray State game?
Will not be gold medally attended.
I know he didn't go to UK, but surely, I don't know if he likes the team or not, but surely we could get Walker Buehler out there, couldn't we? Just won the World Series.
We'll be in.
Did he go to college at all, or was he
Vandy? He's a Commodore.
That's all right. We've already lost to them. He could come out and just stand in outfield. I know the Hawaiian barbecue place said Walker Buehler eats here for free. They got a big sign out in front of it at the moment.
That's pretty good.
Big Kahuna?
Yeah, Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna, I've got to shout them out. They have my favorite sign in town. I pass by it every day. They're next door to Charlie's Seafood, which has been here for 50 years. And Charlie's has always had Lexington's best fish sandwich. It says home of original Lexington's fish sandwich. Everybody knows to go there. Big Kahuna is next door, and they have a sign now that says home to Lexington's second best fish sandwich. And I haven't been in yet, but it makes me want to pull in there and eat that fish sandwich so much. So shout out to Big Kahuna.
Yeah, they just put the big sign up. Said Walker Buehler eats here for free.
Good marketing team over there.
Speaking of marketing, shout out to AARP Kentucky. Tomorrow's election day. So go out there and vote. There's a lot in this election. You got to protect your Social Security you've earned and support family caregivers so you can make the candidates listen. 50 and over voters, they decide election. That's why AARP KY has created an election guide with the most up-to-date information about when, where, how to vote. So if you don't know yet, just going over to aarp.org/KYvotes. That's aarp.org/KYvotes. Paid for by AARP. I would like AARP Kentucky to get people to get the stickers back. I hate those wristbands so much. I feel like you got to do them at all the games for security or whatever. I hate those things. Give me the sticker. I want the sticker. Just why can't we get the stickers back? What's so hard about that?
I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I got Matt voted early. He went and got me a sticker that said I voted. Obviously, I can't. I'm not a citizen of the US. But with the narrative that is surrounding this election, I'm just going to post tomorrow that I voted with my I voted sticker. and say they didn't even check ID and just see if it blows up.
They will.
That's the plan anyway.
I'm just now learning for the first time that we don't get stickers. I haven't gone yet. You telling me I'm not going to get a sticker tomorrow?
No. Well, if you're in Lexington or Louisville, I think they're out on stickers. But if you're,
what am I voting for? It's no reason to vote.
Exactly. Give me my sticker, damn it. I mean, do you think I go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned? No. I go to look in the treasure chest. I'm not there to get stickers.
It's time for me to get a new toothbrush. That's why I go to the dentist.
It's like,
and that one little tub will last me 6 months.
Are Kentucky fans going to the Murray State game to watch football? No, they're going for the tailgate. Because, like, I mean, at this point, so it makes it hard to do. Like,
if I give you a ballot right now, it says Brock Vandegrift, Gavin Wimsett, or Cutter Boley, and you have to vote for the most snaps in the Murray State game. Who's getting your vote? And I will give you a sticker next time I see you.
I'm just playing Cutter. I mean, if the way that Max tells it, if he, you, and I could go out there and score points and beat them, then, like, just let the freshmen, like, let this be like a JV game. Cutter, throw to Gilmore, Wilcox at running back, just youth movement. And you know what? If it's close, who cares? Like, what does it even matter at this point? I mean, you should be able to go out there and win the game. So I'm in the Cutter camp. Are you in the just play the young guys against Murray State camp?
If Brock is healthy, he needs snaps. I'd put it that way.
Okay.
Now, if he's not healthy, I mean, Gavin Wimsett probably needs snaps too. Like, you still got 2 games to play if Brock can't play. I mean, it all just depends, I guess, on what is Vandegrift's status. I definitely think you want to see throw Cutter Boley out there to see what he can give you, but at the same time, I don't think he's playing in these last 2 games. So,
yeah, I don't want him to play at Texas. That does not feel like an ideal scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I think health status permitting, we kind of had this situation early in the year before South Carolina. Like, we were unlucky that Southern missed. We weren't able to play a proper game and get snaps and see what we look like. But we got a Louisville and Texas game coming up that we need to be competitive in, and if not win, hopefully one of those 2. So as much as it's cool to throw the young guy out there and let him get better, he can get better next year. Let's go win these games and try to win them comfortably.
This season has been the most abnormal football season. Southern Miss, we just had a lightning delay when there was no storms. And I mean, that we should have known then that this was going to be a weird one, right? Like that should have been the sign from God telling us, yeah, prepare for some crazy shit. It's going to happen. It's going to get weird. You're going to play great against some really good teams. You're going to get housed by South Carolina. Vandy is going to, like, I'm getting more worked up than I want to be over this season, because it's just been frustrating to try to figure out who this football team is, and I still can't figure it out. I love the comments that Brad White had after the game. He got his defense, he rallied the troops, but like, just the lack of consistency is it's so hard week to week just to know what you're going to get, and it's been a real challenge. It's been a real challenge to cover from afar, and it makes you wonder, like, well, what the hell is going to be next? I don't know. It should be it's probably going to be just as chaotic as this season has been.
When I got stung by a bee at media day, should have known. And that bee would not leave me alone. It ended up stinging me while I was talking to Drew. We were just hanging out by ourselves in the facility, in the indoor. I should have known right then, Nick.
Yep. I mean, you hit a deer this season.
I hit a deer. Southern Miss night.
I mean,
3 days after my SUV died. Yeah, we should have just known. The signs were there.
Yeah, we on the way to the South Carolina game, when I met with Peak, we had to stop at a different place because the road was closed. And when we stopped at, the car was on fire. There was a car that was just like in flames in the parking lot. I mean, they tried to tell us it was going to be weird. It was going to be wacky. I really don't know what's next. We've got Paul Feinbaum talking about Summerall, being a candidate if Kentucky or Auburn comes open. So that those seeds have been planted to start the month of November. The hot seat talk is going to really ramp up in the next few weeks. Recruiting is going to ramp up. We are 1 month from National Signing Day this Wednesday. Or I think it's 1 month from today, 4 weeks from Wednesday. So a lot of stuff. We get the first playoff rankings tomorrow. Like it's critical mass is where we're reaching. So it's going to be wild. We've also started to reach critical mass on this podcast. We do have to get out a little bit early today because Drew's got more radio to do, another game to cover. How'd you enjoy your 2 post-game shows last week? Was that fun?
That's fun. I think today is going to be worse than that because, we all have a morning for the morning post. Today was mine. So I'm looking at about a 7 a.m. to 1 to 2 a.m. nonstop. But, hey, this is fun. I'm looking forward to getting her up. I know we're sad here, and I don't want to be one of the people turning the page, but it's hard not to be pretty excited about Mark Pope rolling them out tonight.
I want to see you on Snackwords, Cam.
Hey, I'm trying.
If they can find you up in the rafters. If they can find you up in the rafters, I want to see you on Snackwords, Cam.
We're up there this year.
Just don't get Peak started on what he wants changed to Rupp Arena because he'll tell you. He'll tell you, by God.
Peak's got some thoughts. I like Peak's thoughts. Everybody needs thoughts.
You know what? We need to do more TikToks. I want to see Peak's Rupp Arena fixes TikToks. Let's get those cooked up. See, I love this. We're ending the show by telling our producer to do more work as he's getting ready to go do more work. Love it. Well, hey, it's been fun talking football for a little bit. Luckett and I will do 11 personnel on Wednesday night to give you some more nitty-gritty X's and O's talk. But enjoy the football bye week. Enjoy the basketball games. This has been the KSR Football Podcast.